Hello, welcome back to Everything Tumbler Tutorials. My name is Rebecca and today we're going to do another sweet little Christmas tutorial, and we're going to start off by painting the center of this tumbler with an acrylic red paint from Hippie Crafter. I'm working with a 20-ounce already spray painted tumbler, and I did spray paint it a vintage lace from Color Shot. And this tumbler has yet to be epoxied, which is exactly why I don't have any tape lines as a guide, as I really did not want to risk peeling up the spray paint. So yes, I'm going to go in here and just very carefully give myself a nice little section that we are then going to glitter. Most importantly, when using acrylic paints, you really want to try to make it as smooth as you possibly can. And of course, you want to have those straight edges. Though my edges aren't straight, but that's okay because nail tape and our vinyl will fix that right up. But we are going to really try to do our best to make a nice straight line and clean up any of those clumps from the paint. Once you're pretty happy with your painted section, then we're going to go in with Passion, which is a metallic fine from AB Designs. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and let this continue to spin on the turner, and I'm going to go ahead and glitter it. Make sure you have something up underneath if this is the way that you do it, so then you can put that excess glitter that's fallen off back into your jar. Once I make sure that I have all of this nice and covered and it's dried, I will then take it off the turner and clean up the top and those bottoms just to get that excess glitter off. And then I will clear seal this with Clear Seal from Rust-Oleum. And that's going to help us lock in those glitters so it doesn't contaminate the other sections when we get ready to epoxy. So for this tumbler, I really wanted to do something other than just applying the vinyl. So I decided that I was going to hand paint my own holly berries onto the tumbler. I am using a couple of different greens from Hippie Crafter to paint my leaves, and I'm also using the exact same red as I did for the glitter base for my little berries. So I am going ahead and painting in my hollow berries prior to having epoxy this tumbler. If you make a mistake and you wipe it up straight away with a baby wipe, it comes right off. However, if you are not comfortable with that, then I would highly recommend doing a coat of epoxy before this step. I do want to just point out that I am a tumbler creator. I am not an artist by any means. However, doing the holly berries was very, very simple. I just used a dotting tool for my red berries, and I am just making like S squiggly lines, if you will, and I'm just going to go over it until I'm happy with it. I'm also keeping it on the turner as well, just so that I don't risk nicking my glitter. Even though I sealed it, it is not foolproof at this point. Here's where I'm going to make another holly berry, and I do like to start with my berries first. So I'm just going to use the dotting tool, and I just dip it inside the cap because it does not take a lot of paint. Once you've allowed it to completely dry, it does not need to be sealed, and we're ready to go right into our epoxy. I am going to add in MJ's Magic Mix, which is such a beautiful gold, just a teeny tiny bit right into my epoxy. For this first coat of epoxy, I am going to be using Fast Set from Counterculture DIY. We're going to allow this to fully cure before moving on to the next step. So to correct those lines that we have from painting, I'm going to go in with a 3mm gold nail tape, which was the perfect touch, as it blended really well with the gold additive we used in our epoxy. So for my decal saying, I really needed my saying to match the top and bottom of the tumbler. So I found a spare piece of vinyl that I actually needed to spray paint the same color as the rest of the tumbler, which was the vintage lace from Color Shot. Once the spray paint dried, I then used my Cricut to cut it out. I had a little boo-boo here at the H and some of my paint peeled, but not to worry, I'm going to show you how we're going to fix that. First, I wanted to add in a super cute holly to match the rest of the tumbler where my O is supposed to be. For this particular holly, the only thing I would have done differently is add white, and I would have put white underneath it, if that makes sense, to where it would have really stood out off the red. So once this holly was completed, I then went ahead and spray painted into a little measuring cup the same vintage lace. This way I would have a little pocket of paint into my measuring cup that I could then paint on and fix my little boo-boo. So once that was completed, I decided to go back in with a much lighter green just to kind of accent the holly berries like I did on the original ones. Once I was done with that step, I then went in and added some white to my berries for a little bit of shadowing. And here she is, almost completed. She only needed one more final coat of epoxy and it was officially done. I absolutely love the way this turned out. I hope that you guys found this video enjoyable and satisfying. And if so, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials coming soon. And be sure to come back tomorrow for another fun tutorial. So until next time, Merry Christmas.